Oh boy, did I get myself in a sticky situation. What's up guys, Dan here, Coalcracker Bushcraft. So I'm in a sticky situation, but not the kind you would get into with maybe your significant other or at work or anything like that. It is a sticky situation with the pine sap from the last video. Now, if you haven't seen the last video, it's definitely a fun one. We made a bushcraft torch to light your way at night. You almost are gonna feel like Indiana Jones, just like going through caverns with torches and fighting off bad guys, all that good stuff. But definitely a fun project. I'll put the link down in the description below. But with that video came a lot of questions around pine sap. And the top 3 questions that were asked in no specific order. Number 1, how do you transport this stuff around once I find it? Because you're not always going to just look to your right or look to your left and have it right at camp. So you're going to have to find it and then transport it along with you. So how do you do that? Number 2, how are you going to cook this stuff or melt it down if you don't have an old can like I had for the last video? And then number 3 is long-term storage of this, because maybe you're just out and about on a day hike and you see a big glob of it and you want it for later, but you don't need it right now. How can we store it? So let's talk about all that stuff. All right, now let's first talk about collection and transportation of this stuff. So there is a lot of different stuff that you can do here, but what we typically like to do is just collect it on a stick. So I just grab a stick, scrape it off, and you're gonna be good to go, because the stuff's super sticky. It's gonna stick on here. It looks a little bit like a woodland Q-tip, and like a small amount like this is gonna just be wonderful for making a fire. But if you need a larger amount for something like that torch that we made in the last video, or if you're gonna be making pitch glue, then it's a little bit different of a story. You're gonna be carrying either a bazillion sticks or you're gonna have to do something else. So what I found that we normally have with us anyway is this good old boy. It's our char tin. So if you're somewhat close to camp and you're gonna be using this like in a reasonable amount of time, just open up your char tin and use the lid of the char tin to just scrape that stuff on. Now, yes, it's gonna make your char tin a little bit sticky, but we're gonna talk about cleanup a little bit later in this video. So that's a great way to just store this. And when you get back into camp, you can scrape it with another stick off of the lid, put a little bit of dirt on it for the time being, take the stickiness away, close it up, and you're good to go. Or, like in my case today, what I did was I took my char out, wrapped it up in a bandana, stuck it in my haversack, and then as you can see here, I put a lot of that inside. So then I have a very easy way now to close this and transport it. Now next, let's jump to how to actually cook this stuff down. So I did have a soup can because I'm doing a video. We got to keep it short, we got to keep it simple. But most cases, you're not going to have a can with you unless you are specifically going out to do these types of projects. Then I would say get a can and just be done with it overall. But if you're out and about with your normal kit and you see this stuff and you think, hey, I want to collect it and do something with it, this again is going to be a savior, and that is your char tin. Take out your char, place that sap inside there, and then you can cook right inside this char tin and melt everything down and use this as the vessel for your sap. Next is clean up after you are done, be it a can that you want to use over and over again, be it your char tin. All that you're going to do after you're done using the resin is simply burn it out over the fire. We know that the resin is going to burn. It's definitely flammable. You just got to give it some time in the fire to burn out, and then wipe out the inside of your container, get the soot out of there, or wash it if it's a cup that you use, and you're going to be good to go. It's literally that easy. And then finally, long-term storage. What if you find this stuff? How do you store it long-term? So one option is to just let it dry out. It will naturally dry out, and it becomes a very hard chunk of mass. And then in order to use that, you have to heat it back up and remelt it. So it's really not that difficult to store long-term. But we always have to do something fun here, and that was to make a poopsicle out of this stuff. Now, I'm just calling it that. I know, I mean, it's what it looked like. And what you do is you take pine sap, and then we are going to find a binding agent. So just a quick side note, to make pitch glue, okay? You take your resin, you take charcoal, and you take a binder. The binder can be cattail fluff, it can be like punk wood, it can be rabbit turds or deer turds that are dried out. Anything that is fibrous will work as a binding agent, and the reason you put the charcoal in with it then is a hardening agent, and that's what makes pitch glue. So in our case, we're gonna leave the hardening agent out, and we're just gonna add the binding agent. All of that stuff that I named burns really well. We know sap burns real well, so we're just gonna melt the sap down, mix some of that binder in, and then allow it time to cool. And what that's going to do is it's gonna make it very pliable and workable in your hands, not sticky, but still burnable. So let's check out how that actually works. All right, and then today's winner of the binding agent is going to be this. This is just rotted wood. So if you take this stuff, it's beyond punk wood. So punk wood is a stage of the rot, but if you look at the rest of this wood here, it just literally crumbles away to basically sawdust as I mess with it. So I'm gonna gather a whole bunch of this stuff, and this is gonna be our binding agent for today to go along with our pine resin. So this is what it looks like. It is literally just powdered wood that is rotted away. So we're gonna take this back into camp and make up our fire starters. So all I'm doing at this point is just taking my time on and off the heat so it doesn't catch on fire, making sure it's a good liquid mixture, and then we're going to start to add in that dried wood that we collected. All right, so you can see my mixture there. I'm gonna start to add some of this in, and then all I wanna do as I add that in is give it a mix. Now, as I go, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push this out onto this rock and add some more of our dried material like this, and start to really work this in until we can get to the point that it is pliable for me to be able to use my hands in order to smush this together. So we're almost there. Now we can form it whatever shape we would like. I'm gonna make it a small little log. This is what we called it the poopsicle before, just like this. Now we're just gonna give it some time to cool down further, and then we're gonna check out its fire starting capabilities. See that container? So it's a hot mess, but I'm going to clean it up now. I'm gonna throw this right in the fire so I can show you how nice these things clean up. So I'm gonna get that in there, get some more sticks on there. We're gonna burn that out, and then our fire log is also almost dried and complete, and we'll be good to go with this. All right, so check it out, fresh out of the fire. That char tin is totally cleaned out, like brand new. So it's ready for my next batch of char. It was unaffected by using the sap. Very easy way to clean this stuff out. But besides that point, let's go over now and check out how good this stuff burns. All right, so our fire starter is ready to go. I mean, you can see I'm handling it. Nothing on my fingers. It's not sticky. I can stick this in my bag. I'll be good to go. All you need to do for this is either cut a section off or light the whole thing, okay? So it just looks like this on the inside, not much of anything, and then you can light this stuff up. So let me move this off to the side, and then your fire starter is ready to go. I'm going to use the bigger portion here, so all we want to do is hold an open flame source on this. You got to just give it a little bit of time with the open flame source, like a emergency match time is probably going to be about best on here. Lighter though, of course you can have a little bit longer, and then you see once that gets going, we have a very nice flame, something that is going to help us get that fire started right away and in a hurry. Just burns wonderfully. All right guys, there you go. That is all about pine sap, how to transport it, how to clean up your containers, how to make a fire starter out of it that is not all sticky and sloppy, that burns really long, and it's gonna be a wonderful addition to your kit. So definitely give this one a try and have a good time with it. If you like this video, hit like and subscribe down below. You can also check us out at coalcrackerbushcraft.com for all our classes, our gear, and our blog. And until the next video, grab some pine sap, don't stay sticky, and stay in the woods.